Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're joining us from today. We are so happy to have you here. I'm Karina Bennett, the Executive Director of Surface Design Association. I'm joining today from sunny and green Portland, Oregon. And behalf of everyone on our Textile Talks team, I am so pleased to welcome you to our 250th episode. Next slide. Textile Talks is a weekly series presented in partnership by 4 organizations: International Quilt Museum, Quilt Alliance, Studio Art Quilt Associates, and Surface Design Association. When we originally started this collaboration way back in April of 2020, we were also joined by the Modern Quilt Guild and the San Jose Museum of Quilts and Textiles. Since the start, we have presented almost every single week on a wide variety of topics. And none of our organizations could have presented all these talks on our own. It's a really, really great example of collaboration and partnership. The Textile Talks audience has consistently included members from all of our organizations, as well as new members each and every week. In fact, 25% of our audience reports that they do not belong to any of our host organizations yet. We continue to reach an audience around the world with people tuning in from places like the United Arab Emirates, Croatia, New Zealand, UK, Mexico, Sweden, South Africa, Austria, Nigeria, Iceland, Jamaica, Chile, Japan, the US, Canada, and many, many other places. Welcome to everyone. It's great to see your comments in chat. And a quick, next slide, please. A few quick housekeeping announcements before we jump in. This is a webinar, so your screens and mics are not active or showing. You can use the chat box to greet others, make comments, or ask for technical help. You can use the Q&A box to enter your questions for our panelists throughout the presentation. We have a full presentation today, but we'll do our best to answer any questions in the Q&A box if they come up. If you prefer not to see notifications from chat, you can click on the chat button to toggle it on or off on your Zoom controls. You can also turn on live captions by clicking the live transcript /CC button on your Zoom controls. For today's content, some of it is pre-recorded and the volume levels can vary slightly. So if you have headphones, we would recommend grabbing those. There's also some slight pauses between some of the audio recordings. So stay patient while we get those started. Next slide, thank you. We are able to offer this series free to you because of the generosity of our underwriting sponsors. Many of these sponsors have supported Textile Talks since the very beginning, and we are so grateful. We see you out there, sponsors. Thank you so much for your support. We have a few sweet messages from our sponsors to share today.
Yes, this is Mark Dunn of Moda Fabrics, Dallas, Texas. Moda Fabrics is a proud sponsor of Textile Talk. Congratulations to all the crew at Textile Talk for 250 interesting and informative programs.
Hi, this is Katie Pasquini with Allegre Retreat in Gateway, Colorado. I'm calling you from California to congratulate you on the 250th episode of Textile Talks. Who would have thunk? They are just fabulous. I even did one myself. I enjoy watching them and just congratulate you for doing such a great job.
Hi, this is Jen Garkey, Creative Director at Yellow Dog, calling in from Denver, Colorado. Yellow Dog is a proudly women-owned design, print, and marketing studio. We help small businesses, nonprofits, and corporate clients realize their vision through creative touchpoints. At Yellow Dog, we are all about creating connections, such as our longtime partnership with Sakwa. We have been creating award-winning graphics together for 8 years now, including the Sakwa Journal and the exhibition catalogs, highlighting the work of this talented community. Yellow Dog is honored to support Textile Talks and celebrate the spirit of creativity in such a wonderful forum.
Hi, this is Rhonda Pierce of Smets Needles North America, giving a big shout out to Textile Talks. 250 weekly presentations and discussions is an admirable milestone. Congratulations. Thank you for inspiring, educating, and enlightening our creative world. I look forward to even more Textile Talks that broaden and stitch together our creative community. So Smets.
Hi, this is Barbara Triscari of Sacred Threads in Indianapolis, Indiana. Sacred Threads is a unique exhibit that builds community through shared stories. This resonates with the sharing of stories through Textile Talks, where I have laughed, cried, and learned along with you. Sacred Threads is a proud sponsor of Textile Talks because it is an important resource in the textile arts community. Begun as a way for the community to come together during the pandemic, its huge success endures because of its large scope that highlights many facets of the textile arts in an accessible format. Beyond what I personally have learned through watching the talks, Textile Talks changed my life. I watched the Sacred Threads Textile Talk by Lisa Ellis in 2022, where she announced she was looking for a new team to take over running Sacred Threads. I was honored to do a Textile Talk last month as the new director of Sacred Threads. The Indianapolis team is excited to present a vibrant part of Indianapolis to our visitors this fall. I invite you to experience Indy's Cultural Trail, the Mass Ave Business District, and the heartfelt Sacred Threads Exhibit and Experience Weekend, filled with community and skill-building events October 30th to November 10th. Thank you to the organizations that utilize their resources to create Textile Talks week after week and year after year, and to those who support this incredible resource of 250 Textile Talks and counting. See you in the chats and hopefully in Indy this fall.
Hi, this is Luana from eQuilter.com in Boulder, Colorado. I am so thrilled that Textile Talks has reached 250 episodes. Wow. Do you remember way back when, in spring and summer of 2020, when we were sadly coming to the conclusion that we were going to be stuck at home for a while? And then these Textile Talks came out. And I was watching them, and I just thought, man, this is brilliant. This needs to continue. I had a conversation with Martha Seelman, and we discussed that there should be sponsors. And I said, well, I want to be the first to sign up to be a sponsor. So for all of you who have contributed over the last, almost 5 years, and to all the other sponsors, and especially to all of you who have watched, this is community in action. This is how we support each other. I think that the world is kind of screwed up these days, and it's my art and my sewing and my quilting and my creativity that keeps me sane. And then every week on Wednesday, there's that little jolt of creative juice that helps me to get through another day, another week, gives me ideas, gets the wheels spinning. And it's just my sincere hope and wish and dream that we have contributed in a small way to supporting this for all of you. And, of course, we thank all of you who support our family-owned business as well. But thank you to Martha and Quilt Alliance and all of the groups who have contributed to this. Thanks.
Hi, this is Alex Anderson from thequiltshow.com. What an amazing milestone Textile Talks has gotten to. 250 episodes. Wow. These talks have provided passion, consistency, and creativity that's kept audiences engaged and inspired. Here's to everything you've accomplished and to many more episodes ahead. Happy quilting.
Thank you so much to our sponsors for their support and those sweet messages. I don't think any of us could have said it better than that. And to celebrate today's talk, this milestone episode, we'd love to reintroduce you to each of our organizations. In addition to Textile Talks, we all offer a wide range of unique programming to audiences around the world. And each of our organizations has selected a clip to play that really resonated with us and we want to share again with you. As a reminder, there are Textile Talks playlist is on YouTube. You can see all of these talks. You can explore ones you missed. It's all there for you to access for free at any time. So again, my name is Karina Bennett. I'm the director of Surface Design Association. For nearly 50 years, SDA has been a leader in the field of fiber art, providing a platform for critical dialogue, innovation, learning, mentorship, and community. SDA is expansive, from makers and artists to academics and curators. At the heart of SDA is the quarterly Surface Design Journal, which brings the very best of contemporary fiber to audiences around the world. Each SDA membership includes 4 annual journals, as well as access to our 14-plus year digital journal archive. So if you join today, you can see 14 years of journals at your fingertips. There's a lot to explore. Next slide. The SDA community, something that unites us all is we love to learn. We offer a wide range of unique online workshops every fall and every spring. These are presented by leading artists in the field. They're really unique topics, and they're designed to be accessible and to audiences around the world. You have access to the workshops for about a year. So check them out if that's something you're interested in. Next slide. We also organize exhibitions. We collaborate closely with our venue partners, again, spread across the US and across the globe. We engage tens of thousands of visitors each year through these exhibitions. Next slide. At SDA, community is really important to us. While we've been a virtual organization since 1977, we have many ways for members to build long-lasting connections. Our meetups bring together individuals around a specific topic or theme. These are free and open to all SDA members. Our annual online symposium is held every February. It offers a day of engaging presentations and discussions. And then over the next week, we offer small group programming, virtual studio visits, meetups, small group discussions with presenters, all meant to help attendees dive deeper into the symposium theme and connect to one another. Next slide. So I selected a slide from our episode, The Comfort of Textiles in a Time of Need, featuring Joe Andrews. This episode originally aired in May of 2022. Joe is a former BBC reporter and now runs the really wonderful podcast Haptic and Hue. I believe it's in his 7th season. I wanted to share this clip because I think it serves as a really powerful reminder of the importance of textiles and fibers in our life. There is no other artistic medium that we as humans have such a visceral response to. It's a reminder of what connects us, and it does indeed provide great comfort when we need it most. All of the organizations who are part of Textile Talks exist to preserve, present, and promote works rooted in this fundamental understanding. And to that extent, here's our clip.
So I was quite used to seeing pictures of refugees, but when I started looking at the pictures of the Ukrainian refugees earlier this year, I noticed something, and either I was much more sensitized to it because I had started thinking much more deeply about textiles, or this was really the first time we'd seen this. But here's a family, they're having to flee. All they have with them are 4 plastic bags, and yet that child is taking with her the very precious little pink animal that she has. Next. What we've got here are a picture from the famous trains that left the train station in Ukraine. 2 children leaving with their mother, and the teddy bear is almost as big as they are. And we've got more children in the queues waiting to get onto the trains. And you can see these people have got very little with them, but they've remembered to bring the teddy bears with them. And I was really struck by this and wondered what was going on. These are just the things that we can see. And I think all of us who know children, have had some experience of them, will know that as well as these teddy bears and beloved toys that we can see, There will be comfort blankets and other pieces of cloth that these children have and very much rely on. Next. So I started asking the question, what do we think's going on here? And the answer came that 70% of children develop strong attachments to toys or blankets. So it's a very, very normal thing to do. And these, what they call transitional objects, help children move towards independence. I also found out that they're much more common in Western countries. And I think that's probably why we were seeing them much more in the Ukraine than we had seen them in other refugee situations. And the reason for that is that children in Western countries are expected to separate from their parents much earlier than children in other cultures. And so it's that separation, they need this comfort or this comfort blanket or the toy to take with them to give them that sense of comfort. Next. So I decided to do some research and I asked two now young women in positions of great responsibility. Alice is now the deputy headmistress of a school, and I had known her when she was a child, and I remembered Rugger. And so I rang her up and she very kindly sent me a picture of Rugger, who she still has. She says she doesn't use Rugger in quite the same way. And I asked her as an adult what it was about Rugger that she loved so much. And here she is. She just says it was incredibly calming and it was really comfortable. And she talks about the texture and the smell. She also says that she had to introduce Rugger to her husband and that there wouldn't have been a marriage if he hadn't accepted Rugger before they walked up the aisle. She knows where Rugger is, but she doesn't need Rugger in quite the same way. And the second research subject was Tess, who comes from New Zealand and who is now a senior journalist. Tess wouldn't show me Bida, but she would send me a picture she'd created of Bida when she was 5. But the picture says, "I love dog kisses. They are sloppy, but I really love Bida." And Tess, I remember, was absolutely inseparable from Bida. Bida was a pink check brush cotton sheet. And Tess says Bida and she had a tremendous connection and she really loved and cared for Bida. And she worried if Bida was lost in case it got cold or scared. And interestingly, again, she doesn't need Bida now, but she still has Bida in her room and knows where Bida is. Next, please. And there's only been one piece of research that I could find that's actually been done about comfort blankets and soft toys. And that's by these two psychologists, Bristol University and Yale. And they found that children intuitively believe that comfort blankets or soft toys have a unique essence or a life force. And I love this. They know these objects aren't alive, but they believe in them as though they are. And very importantly, they can't be substituted. If you lose that item, it's gone. It's no good buying another exactly the same. It just isn't the same thing. Next. And when I started to think about this, I thought that this wasn't actually confined to childhood. Yes, children have comfort blankets. Yes, they're the ones that have the big teddies and the soft toys. But I think we comfort ourselves with textiles all our lives. And if there's no one in the moment to give you a hug, a textile is the closest we can get to replicating that. And I think those of us who make textiles, in a sense, we're also offering love and security by making and gifting textiles.
That was such a wonderful episode. I remember it. Choosing one episode to feature is like trying to choose your favorite child. They're all so wonderful. I'm Martha Seelman. I'm the executive director of Studio Art Quilt Associates, and we go by our acronym SAQUA. This is a great photo of our regional reps all together at our conferences. We offer our members an annual conference. This past year, it was in St. Petersburg, Florida. Next year, we'll be doing a virtual conference that will allow everybody to attend, and we will be focusing on artists creating in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Next, please. Our members get a quarterly journal filled with art, advice, and really interesting information all about art quilts. Next slide. I think that what our biggest claim to fame is our exhibitions program. At any given year, we have somewhere between 15 and 18 exhibitions traveling that are drawn from our 4,200 members. This particular set of photos are from the opening of an exhibition called Stitch Punk. We also have regional exhibitions. At the moment, I think we have close to 30 of them that are traveling right now. So if you are creating in fiber and you would like to share what you're creating with audiences around the world, please do consider joining us. Our exhibitions program is really incredible. Next, please. We also offer a lot of educational opportunities. One of the ways that we offer this is through what we call special interest groups. So here are 4 of the ones that are currently being offered. There are others. And so if you're interested in creating 3-dimensional textile work, if you're interested in how to use cutting machines to create your art, if you're interested in using long arm machines in more ways than simply quilting, or if you're interested in exploring contemporary art of all kinds, there's a special interest group for you as part of SAQUA. Next, please. And we also offer educational webinars through Zoom. This most recent one was Judge versus Jury, and it was a wonderful give and take about the difference between exhibitions that are judged and exhibitions that are juried, full of give and take, and very well received by the 400 or so people who attended. So now it's time for my clip. And as I was trying to figure out which episode to share a little bit with you, I really ended up coming back to one of my absolute favorites, which is a presentation by Judith Content, who is a SAQUA member who lives in Northern California and who has been exploring now for many years the idea of ephemeral sculptural installations where each component has a dyed and often embroidered top on a bamboo pole. And I just love this presentation because it is so peaceful. I just want to be there with her, observing her sculptures in the environment.
So the beach and the coast has been an inspiration to me for my wall work and for all my work for as long as I can remember, having moved to California in 1975. But sometimes for these installations, I get to the beach and I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do first. I do my own photography. I use my iPhone. I have a full battery. I'm ready to go, but you want to do the best possible composition you can with the battery and the stamina that I have. And so this day was one of those days. And I had wandered around and I'd looked at the boulders and nothing was appealing to me. The next slide, please. But I walked far enough to find this little waterfall, and it is in the video, I believe, and you can see it on my Instagram. But it was the last thing I expected because we were in a drought, and it was in the middle of the summer, which is the foggy time of year, and it was dripping down and it created a perfect circle of damp sand. So I outlined it, and I started to, for the first time, notice the shadows. And again, for the photography, I take as many photographs as I possibly can. You can't take too many because there'll be one, maybe two in there. That will be just what I'm looking for. I do a lot of cropping. Next slide, please. And so here I'm essentially drawing with my sculptures, and I'm fascinated by the slender bamboo, the various angles. It has kind of an undulating line to it, and also circles, playing with the shadows, playing with the vertical nature of the sculptures themselves and the horizontal nature of the waves and the horizon line. I'm considering all of those. It's an all-consuming thing to do. Next slide. And another photograph similar to that. I still feel I'm at the very beginning of this, and I love to work small, but I love to combine the small components into large scale installations. So that would be a real commitment in time, though, because these do take time to create. But I'd like to work bigger. I'd like to do massive installations, and I'd like to figure out how I can do them inside too, because they're not necessarily permanent at all.
So please go back and take a look at the playlist. I'm sure you'll be able to find some of your favorites to enjoy rewatching.
Thank you, Martha. Judith Content's work is so amazing, and her vision, that little bit of zen we all needed today. So thank you for sharing that with us. Hello, I'm Leslie Levy, the artist and Robert James Executive Director of the International Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska. The International Quilt Museum is a premier cultural institution dedicated to the preservation and celebration of quilting traditions from around the world. We were founded in 1997 by Native Nebraskans artists and Robert James with their collection of nearly 950 quilts. The museum has become a global center for textile arts, scholarship, and appreciation as it celebrates the cultural and artistic significance of quilts through extraordinary exhibitions and outstanding diverse programs for our audiences of all ages. The museum presents 12 to 15 exhibitions in Lincoln annually, but we don't merely display quilts, rather, with now 11,000 quilts and related textiles in our collection, we create thoughtful exhibitions that explore diverse perspectives from historical patterns to contemporary studio quilts and international textile traditions, while we're also highlighting the stories of human creativity, resilience,
and connection across generations and borders that these cultural artifacts so innately illustrate. We also travel 3 to 5 exhibitions a year, both in the United States and abroad. So you can see here is an exhibition by Paula Kovark called Heard. You can enjoy our exhibitions on our website, internationalquiltmuseum.org, and then click on the exhibitions tab. There you are able to view the exhibitions currently on display, as well as those exhibitions that we have installed in the past. Since 2020, you can see our exhibitions and take a virtual tour of those. There were a couple silver linings to COVID, and virtual exhibition tours was one of those. Next. Here is a photo of the exhibition Jorgen. It was an exhibition of Turkish quilts. We do have a large international collection of quilts as part of our permanent collection. We did feature this exhibition on our October 2nd Textile Talk last year. So you can see it on YouTube if you did not have the opportunity to see that and want to learn more. Or you can also go to our website and click on virtual programs and then go to the lectures and programs tab and then click on Textile Talks. And at the bottom of that link is the links to all of our previous Textile Talks. So looking ahead, I can tell you on our exhibition schedule, we have some wonderful exhibitions in store. And of course, those exhibitions will become the subjects of our upcoming Textile Talks. Next. The textile talk that I wanted to share with you today is very poignant. I chose a textile talk from 2024 with Basil Kincaid. It is a conversation between Basil and Roderick Karakoff, who is an author, collector, and also a board member here at the International Quilt Museum. And the talk is moderated by the museum's former curator of collections, Dr. Carolyn Ducey. What I love about the clip that we're going to show you, mainly what drew me to this particular segment, was the honesty and the vulnerability that Basil expresses. He talks about his experiences, his thoughts and feelings of self-doubt, which to me are really relatable by all of us, regardless of where we are in our careers, our art, our relationships. To question one's talent, ability, and future, and yet find the perseverance to continue is incredibly compelling. So for me, this is a very powerful textile talk. So let's take a listen.
Yeah, this is an early piece, 2007.
Yeah, this is some of the early work. So I've always had this interest in abstraction. I guess I should also say that like quilting is part of my generational family practice. My grandmother, her sisters, their mom's mom, and I have an aunt that's like deep in the family, retracing the family tree, and she's found quilters as far back as she can trace. So this is looking at some of my like inspired by some of my grandmother's like improvisational style. But then I was inspired, the form of it is inspired by how like when you wake up, if you sleep with quilts, when you wake up with the quilt, it's like composed on the bed in like this kind of musical, lyrical way. And so I wanted to capture that energy with these, I guess, almost like sculptural paintings.
Yeah, this photo doesn't show the dimensionality of it, but it's very
but these are like 8 inches deep. Yeah,
and
or 6 inches, I guess.
You've done a number in this early period of that type,
of that style.
Let's go to the next, please.
Yeah. And so, I mean, a lot of these you can tell are inspired by my family. Some of these materials are family materials. This piece in particular, so during this time period, I was collecting a lot of material. I was living in this abandoned church, One other artist, and like this chef, we're all living in this abandoned church, like making art. And at this time, I like, put the word out and people would deliver materials to the church. So they became kind of portraits of the city, but in a way where it's like they became pretty specific too, because it's like materials from my life and materials from people that have access to me. And at that time, it was people that, knew that I was closer to, because I didn't have probably at this time only have like maybe a couple thousand followers.
Yeah. Go to the next slide. Carol and I had the first slide up before.
Yeah, so this is pre-muscle.
Yeah, in going through Instagram, I came across, I'll read the quote. You posted this in 22, but I think you talked about this much earlier, but
yeah.
You say 2017, a lot can happen in 5 years. When I took this photo, I was living and working in the roof of an abandoned church, sleeping on the floor above the sanctuary. I got a vision and the courage to rise to it. How did you get that courage and vision?
The original vision came in the form of a dream in 2016. I saw my grandmother like in front of this. So if you've been to St. Louis, like in the city, there's like these row houses, and she was in front of this 2-story kind of shotgun style house, but the whole house was wrapped in a quilt. And she had like this glowing gold aura flowing out of her in waves. And I woke up from that dream like, I gotta start making quilts. Like it was just like hit me so hard. At the time I didn't even know how to sew. So I was like, I gotta learn how to teach myself how to sew and then learn how to make quilts. The courage part, I think, just comes from reps, and in the beginning, I gotta go back to, honestly, one of my early girlfriends, because her and my brother believed in me more than I believed in myself. And and that, at first, I guess I was leaning on the belief of other people. Mm-hmm. And then like with repetition, you develop confidence. Like if you do something enough repeatedly and consistently, confidence just starts coming automatic. Like, and some of it is like a lot of my Instagram even is pep talks to myself. Like,
yes, yeah.
I'll hype myself up, and hopefully it inspires somebody else. But if I have to, I don't know, motivate myself, I just figure out what I can do to like keep myself uplifted.
Let's go to the next
and then I just decided that I would never give up. Like some stuff is just making a decision and committing to it,
Yeah.
Like realizing like, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna keep doing this. And once you decide that, doors just start opening up. But if you have doubt in your heart, the universe can't move, like unless you believe.
Oh, that was great. I love seeing these excerpts. Thank you, Leslie. I'm Amy Milne. I'm the Executive Director of the Quilt Alliance. Thank you so much for helping us celebrate this giant anniversary, which I cannot believe, and I'm sure the rest of you cannot believe it's been 5 years since we started. The Quilt Alliance's mission is to document, preserve, and share the stories of all quilts and all quilt makers. And we're so proud to be part of this textile groups consortium group. The video archive of this series will serve as a snapshot of what textile artists and audiences were creating and saying and questioning and experimenting with and thinking about in this most interesting era of history. And I want to thank you for being part of it, being part of this history, and by returning every week
and to watch and participate, and tell us what your weather is like and where you're connecting from. Because from my perspective, that story is such an important part of our community. So I want to share with you just a couple of ways that the Quilt Alliance operates as an alliance for everyone in this community. Our Community Quilt Days project is the one where we go out into the community and partner with groups, guilds, shops, libraries, museums to document the quilts and the makers and the quilt owners in your community. So you can see here that we both document in person and virtually. So some of that work that was part of this Community Quilt Days project, you may not have realized that you've already witnessed these projects in action here on Textile Talks, and it's been such a great place to share those. Go Tell It is a project that I know you, those of you who've been tuning in regularly, have seen us demonstrate. It's one person standing in front of one quilt, or a set of quilts in this case for Betsy, talking about that quilt for 3 minutes or less. So this project really is a great way for a group to participate, but it's a very simple formula and you can use your cell phone, very straightforward. Running Stitch is a project that I hope many of you have started to explore. It's a podcast, and the podcast draws from the QSOS collection, which is a historic collection of oral history interviews archived in the Library of Congress. But the great thing about audio media is that we can really take that and extend it out with images and with captioning and share it on our social media accounts. But it's a great content form that you can work to also. So Go Tell It videos you watch, Running Stitch podcast episodes you can just listen to while you're working. And I think you're probably also familiar with the QSOS project, Quilters Save Our Stories. It's an oral history project, as I said, and it's a grassroots project. So I invite all of you and anyone who has an interest in oral history to consider being an interviewer. You find someone who is a quilter. For this project, we interview quilters, those who make quilts, about their life, about their quilting, about how they got started. But it's very much a full circle project and really a humanities project, as many of our projects are. We are so interested in the quilts, but we are also interested in documenting the life of that quilter. So I've got the example that I chose, which it was very hard to choose an episode to feature. But I think the reason that I chose the episode that I did, which was a QSOS interview with astronaut here in Nyberg, conducted by artist and educator, professor, administrator Sean Kimber. I chose this one because it really underscores that idea of documenting. When you document a quilt, you also document a quilter. You're documenting their whole life, their quilts, their interests, their passions, their lives, the people in their life, and what those people think about their work, what they think about, what they talk about with colleagues. And in this case, the Quilters SOS project is really neat because the interviewer contributes almost as much as the interviewee in what questions they choose to ask and their relationship. And in this case, we have two scientists who are also quilters. Sean is a mathematician. Karen is a scientist and astronaut, but they both have that shared love of quilting. So I'm going to play the excerpt now.
What's the name of your fabric line? Earth views.
Earth views. All right. Okay. Now I'm getting a sense for what it's going to be. Okay. A question about sustainability and quilting, and you touched upon this a little bit before, where you mentioned that you use this awesome text fabric that is itself recycled, but as we all do, we step across our little boundary lines and use some other materials and things. Sustainability generally in quilting is a big question, and so it's something that I care about as well. So, there's a request for you to speak a little bit more about, or more specifically, to sustainability in quilting.
Yeah, well, first of all, the line that's coming out from Robert Kaufman will be on organic cotton. That was a request that I had made when we started the process. It's, I think about that every time when I'm sewing and I have all these scraps, and because the fabric industry is a huge polluter, especially fashion side of things. I think we just need to start if we all start thinking about it and start trying to move toward organic if we can. Think about what we're doing with our scraps. Awesome Tex is hopefully going to be opening a factory in the United States soon for recycling things. And maybe there can be a program where we collect scraps and you send it in to have it recycled into new fabric. So yeah, I think there's a lot of areas where I struggle with this a lot. How do we go the direction of sustainability, but continue to do the things that we really, really enjoy doing.
Yeah. There's some things that are out of our control, and
yes,
so we don't want to madden ourselves.
Right.
So, do your part.
Right, exactly.
Way to face it. So how do other astronauts view your artwork?
I don't know for sure. I know my husband likes it. Yeah, I don't really hear. I know one of my best friends who's in space right now, actually, Megan MacArthur. I did a painting for. She was in the same class as me, and her husband is also an astronaut who flew with my husband. So it's kind of this very, yeah. But I did an oil painting for her, or acrylic painting for her on a tray, like a serving tray with a ladybug on it, because our class nickname is the Bugs, because we started in 2000, the Y2K bug thing, so they nicknamed us the Bugs. So I made that for her, so I know she's always really appreciated the things that I do. I also made we have in the astronaut office what we call a ready room, is where it's kind of a place where you can get coffee and snacks and hang out and talk, and that name comes from the military, where squadrons would hang out, kind of between flights and that sort of thing. And so in our ready room, we have a couple couches, and I made a set of pillows that for all of the class, we're the Bugs, there's turtles, there's sardines, there are penguins. Anyway, so for the last several classes, I made these pillows where I did the batik method, which was kind of fun, where I used some wax and then dyed it and made each of these to look like a nebula. And I know everybody appreciated them. In fact, some people came into the ready room and they're like, these are really cool pillows. Where did they come from? Like, Karen made them. I'm like, wow. So that was fun to be able to share that with the entire astronaut office.
Yeah. It's wonderful to know they're so welcoming of your full life. You get to live 360 all the time. That's just lovely to know. Kathy Johnson is asking, so we saw a laptop in your workspace. So do you use the computer to help with your intricate applique, or more directly, do you use the computer in your design work?
I use it a little bit. Sometimes I will draw out things on my iPad. I have an iPad Pro with a pencil, and I use that probably more so than my computer. Although oftentimes I will transfer things to my computer to print it out, so I have the pattern printed. And oftentimes I'll make it into, like the life size. I'll use block posters and turn it into the size that I'm going to use, and then recycle the paper.
Yay, good.
I love that. Anyway, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. I'll turn it back over to Karina.
Thanks so much, Amy and Leslie and Martha. Those are all really great clips. I love that. I'm thinking about all the connections between our organizations. Judith is also a member of SDA. Basil Kincaid was actually the cover, was a feature artist and cover image of our Spring 2018 journal, which was the first journal that was published as when I came onto SDA. And our winter journal actually has an article, a book review of Karen's work. So there's great connections to be made, and these are all wonderful episodes and just a few of the many, many episodes on the YouTube playlist for Textile Talks. But we were also curious about what you all thought. So we asked audience members to tell us about some of your favorite episodes, and here are a few highlights.
Thank you. I want to say the interview with Susan Hudson on Textile Talks on January 3rd of 2024 was my most favorite episode. And I, at the time, was reading a book about Native Americans and their treatment in this country, which her quilts illustrated. So I had felt a very strong connection. I also understood her appeal for fabrics, and I mailed fabric to the address given, and in return received a very kind and moving note from Susan herself. So that is one of the outcomes of Textile Talk that I really appreciated. Thank you. My name is Sharon Gillette.
Yes, I'd like to tell you my two favorite episodes. One was with Susan Hunter, who discussed the Navajo Quilt Project, and she inspired me to send them for a year. That was my year project, something every month, because we have so much, and it was so easy to do that and to add to the Navajos' material so that they could work. The other one was not too much in the distant past, was when you showed the wearable art with the New Zealand show. That wearable art was gorgeous, and both of these episodes I was just inspired to pass the information along to many of my friends and insist that they watch them. So thank you for all you do. I've been with you since day one, so I thank you.
Hi, this is for the 250th anniversary or episode, and one that I found quite compelling was Yes, More Please, a conversation with Zach Foster and Heidi Parks. Thanks.
Oof, I love that so much. Maybe can we put Susan's episode in the chat? That might be great for people to rewatch if you haven't seen it. It's really powerful, and so it's so great to be able to present these topics to such a wide audience and reach so many people with these powerful works of art. So thank you again to our organization. Thank you to the hundreds and hundreds of artists and curators who have been part of our talks. We have included a lot of stories, a lot of different voices in 250 episodes. So now we are to the fun part. We have some amazing door prizes today. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to select the winners after today's show based on those who attended today's live talk. So if you are a winner, you will be notified by email, and we will get your shipping address and details and tell you a little bit more about your prize. So stay tuned for that. Our first prize, not only is eQuilter an amazing sponsor, the first sponsor, an amazing sponsor of Textile Talks, but they're also offering a $50 gift card to one lucky viewer. Next slide. The Quilt Alliance is offering an album level membership. You can see all the perks to that here for one lucky viewer. Next slide. International Quilt Museum is also offering a membership and a beautiful tote bag to one lucky viewer. Next. SAQA is offering a one-year SAQA membership with all of the benefits listed here to one person. And next. And finally, SDA is also offering a free digital premium membership plus one free registration to a fall 2025 workshop of your choice. That's a $265 value for one person. And again, keep your fingers crossed, and we'll be in touch in the coming days if you're one of the lucky winners. So before we close, I want to invite you all to attend next week's talk, Song Quilts with Eliza Hardy-Jones, presented by the International Quilt Museum. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting this programming and allowing us to make Textile Talks a free series. If you value Textile Talks, if it's something you enjoy, please consider making a donation. It helps ensure that we can have 250 more episodes brought straight to you all. Again, have a great day, and thank you all.